inside the well, life can get tangled. Might the money. Might the money. Might the money. I'm making money, Mike the.
This podcast or broadcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal, health, tax, or professional advice. Always consult a licensed professional for specific advice related to your situation. Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome back to Mike the Money radio show and podcast. We are here with your weekly episode discussing business clarity, talking about reworking what's not working. So let's go ahead and dive into it for this week. Let's talk a little bit about where are we actually going. What are your top three goals for the next 12 months?
When someone talks about the top three goals, you got to have some type of matrix. Because the thing about it is, you got to be thinking about business impact. It's the thing that you want to see. What thing could you do that will increase your business by 10x, 20x, 100x, or maybe 5x? So you have to find out that what's that key matrix. And then you have to also find your points of failure in your execution, because sometimes we have a business model, but then sometimes something breaks down in the process of you trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay.
Um,
Anything you want to say about efficiency expert?
for the next 12 months, I plan to make money. We're at the end of 2025, right? So 2026, I just plan to get more clients and make money. Not sure what else I'm supposed to say on that question, but yeah.
No, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, I feel the same way too. I know you gotta, the more specific you are, the easier to target the goal, to actually see the goal, the more specific you are. But in pretty simple terms, yes, just make more money.
Get more
It's
clients,
pretty
make more
simple.
money,
More clients, more money, more opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Well, believe it or not, guess what?
What
I have a tube.
are you gonna tell people what's in the tube?
Yeah, I'm going to tell people what's in the tube.
Okay.
Okay, so you take a business goal, you take a big business goal, and then you judge it on two factors: the impact and the outcome.
Okay.
Okay, and then it's going to touch on the execution areas. What do you need to look to make it happen? And then it has a execution task by area, what you need to do. And then it breaks it down to another step. You got a benchmark timeline. So each month you got something that you need to do to make it happen. And then you got a weekly execution, so you can make sure that you are staying on track every week.
Okay.
And then you got some metrics and benchmarks. So if you say I want to make more money, you have to define how much more money you want to make, and then you have to define in the area you want to make it in. And so this tool will help you to get that goal, turn that thing from what you want to do into a actual thing that can happen.
I feel like with that tool, I'm going to need an assistant because I'm lazy and I'm not going to sit down and fill out all the paperwork. Just being honest. So yeah, if you want to be an assistant to me, go to my page and book consultation. I'm kidding. But no, I feel like I think that's a good tool you can use. It's a lot more detailed probably than what I would go. But yeah, I feel like this is a good tool. So where can they find it?
Well, we're going to make it real easy. When you go to our website, MikeTheMoney.com, we're going to have it on the first page, Get Free Tool. And so it's going to take you to the link where you can register your information, and then we will send you the free tool.
Okay. And I'm also going to plug in a good resource, a book called The 12-Week Year. For those of you that get super overwhelmed about trying to plan your goals over a period of 12 months, actually, I wouldn't even recommend that. I would recommend you do it quarterly, and I would recommend that you do it where you have one goal per quarter that you could truly, maybe like 1 to 2 per quarter, that you could truly like laser on and focus on. But if you have not read the book, The 12-Week Year, it's a really good book that helps break down the overwhelm from having to restart every year and condenses it down to basically giving you a fresh start every 90 days, which is typically more realistic when you start looking at goal breakdown. So It's just my little resource to share.
I mean, do y'all use like agenda books? Because I do. Like, I know that was like a high school and college thing, but I still use it in my day to day life because I have to. Like, I have to have everything planned out for that month, like down to the last cent of my money, like bills, activities, everything. Like,
I don't use them as much, but I use my phone a lot. Like I have to put stuff on my calendar, like everything, and I use my reminders app that's on my phone
yeah,
to try
that's
to
good.
plug stuff in. But I'm getting back to doing a whole lot more stuff like on paper because I am a writer. I
Yeah.
like to write stuff down. So I'd say for me, I'll probably get back into that going into 2026. But if it's not in my phone, it ain't happening.
I got
So
you.
that's how I function.
Well, I guess I'm like Nikola Tesla. I have all this stuff in my brain, and I kind of let it formulate, put all the pieces together, and then I start executing on the parts that I need to when I need to. So I'm not one of those people who do a lot of pen to paper. It's like mostly at all times I know where I am or where I need to be
Okay.
because I can see the business model in my brain.
I can't do that. Praise the Lord for you. Can't do it.
Everybody can't do it right. So what tasks are you doing daily to connect with those goals? Like, you want to make more money and more clients.
So,
You didn't say what your goals were either.
I swear.
Well, my goals are real simple. I just want to look at the impact I'm making as far as when I do things, how much revenue I'm generating. When I do something, make sure it does impact. I was blessed this week because last week I had a client that told me that I really should be out helping people because what I have to offer really brings value to the situation. They were dealing with lawyers. They didn't know where to go, what to do, and I came up with a strategy for them to. I'm not a lawyer. Don't ask me for no legal advice, but I am a strategist. I do know where they need to go.
Okay. All right.
As far as the question, what tasks are you doing daily that do not connect to those goals? I feel like you have to use the 80-20 rule so you can identify that investments that are low on rent. You can identify investments that are low on return, and then you need to have a list of goals, and you need to have what goals you want to achieve. Like you said, it could be quarterly, it could be monthly, it can be weekly, and then if you're doing something, for example, you have a lot of expenses that's gonna cause you to go into debt. You need to take that off the list and say, hey, maybe I don't need that Hulu subscription. Maybe I don't need that extra coffee in the morning. Maybe I don't need this or that. You really have to just sit down and analyze that, in my opinion. And then I encourage y'all to write down the top 5 things that you did yesterday, and mark one that has the least amount of value. In doing that, you'll be able to say, oh, is this a repeated behavior? Do I do this every day? And is this going to cause me to be in debt? You know what I mean?
Well, I want to ask a question between activity and impact because a lot of people are doing activities, but they are low impact activities. Like I'm posting on social media, but what are you posting? Okay, well I'm sending out emails, but are the emails good emails? Okay, I'm meeting people, but are you networking and getting connections and showing, demonstrating value at each conversation so people want to follow up with you?
Let's actually finish that conversation or start it, whichever one you want to say it, on the next segment of Like the Money, because we are going to wrap up this one on where are we actually going? There we go. I finally got it right. Okay.
Welcome back to Mike the Money. We're here with your weekly episode discussing business clarity, reworking what's not working, which is a good thing to talk about going into the new year, and doing a real assessment of what have you done this year and what do you want to change going into the new year. So let's kind of continue where we left off. What were you saying?
Well, I'm saying that a lot of times people are getting into activities and not into impact.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a point of execution error because I'm going out to meet people, but I'm not having good networking conversations.
Okay.
I'm not getting good leads that I can follow up with. I'm not demonstrating value when someone talk to me, so they would be interested in doing business with me.
Mm-hmm.
No, just going out and saying hello to somebody and that's all. You almost should have stayed at home.
Mm-hmm. So I have two questions. You gave the example of you had a client that praised you, said that you should be out helping people, which lets you know that you are making an impact. Is that the only way that you measure impact? How else would you measure impact?
Well, I always look at effectiveness. See,
Okay.
because if someone comes to me with a problem,
Mhm.
if I solve the problem, I'm effective.
Mhm.
If someone comes to me and I don't solve their problem and they feel like I got more money than the value, then I'm not doing what I want to do.
Okay.
I think it really just depends on what your aim is for that particular activity or event. Just for example, we just had a show that we did with my husband because he's an artist for 96.3, and we a lot of people there we already knew. He has a big circle. He has a lot of people he already know. We sold a few items, from his merchandise, and I think it was just really great. I think it was good to get him exposure, and I think it was good a social media approach. Now, as far as like business wise, for me, I'm managing him, so I was just like, okay, is this helping my business? And it actually did because the person that put on the event, he said, I want you to run my social media because I see how you did that. So I feel like it just depends on the industry, depends on what you're doing, depends, and you need to make a way to find, like you said, those are connections so you can be effective. To me,
Right. So everything that you do, what I try to stress to my clients and my audience is you have to determine what's your level of success.
mm,
That is a self perception. Nobody else can tell you what that looks like for you. So when you're executing something, you have to determine how will I know that I'm successful at this thing when I'm doing this thing. And so if you never see what that is, first of all, if you never identify what that is, you won't know what to like notice when you have been successful.
right,
But a lot of people have never identified what that looks like. So when people ask them, what have they done, it's kind of hard for them to articulate it because they don't have their own version of what they think success would mean for that particular activity. So the other question that I wanted to
Can
ask,
I ask a question?
huh?
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
So, can you explain to people what a sales funnel is?
Yeah, I can, but what do you
what
have
does
to
that
do
have to
with
do
the
with the
question?
topic?
Well, see, the thing about a sales funnel is sometimes when you meet people, it don't necessarily you get a response right then,
Mm-hmm.
but because you made such an impact on them, they get into your sales funnel.
Mm-hmm.
They may be at the very end of the sales funnel,
Mm-hmm.
but by the time they contact you, they may have. By the time they contact you, they may have come in themselves and may have referred two or three people before they actually come to you themselves because you had made an impact on them. And so when I say that you have to demonstrate value is when you go out because the guy saw how efficient you were,
Mm-hmm.
so he said, "I need that type of efficiency in my operation."
Right.
So he saw your value,
Mm-hmm.
and you demonstrated value, and that went into your sales funnel. And when he comes to does business with you, then you're gonna get paid.
Right. So a sales funnel, basically, if you think of the way that a funnel is shaped, it's shaped like this. It's really wide at the top and it's thin at the bottom, right? So the majority of people, when you're engaging with them, whether that's online or offline, most people identify with a sales funnel being online because it's always connected to like a CRM or some sort of systematic tool. But it can work the same way offline as well too. So in the example that she just gave, she delivered value by putting her work on display, and he noticed it, and so that man became somebody who entered into your pipeline. Your pipeline is, of course, the top part of your funnel that people enter into. So usually what this looks like online is when you see an ad and you click it to either buy a low value like products or a lead magnet or something like that. That is the top of the funnel. That's where people start. That's where you're building know, like, trust. That's where people are getting introduced to you. That's where people are trying to feed and like dig and find more information about you and your brand. They're trying to get to know you so they can trust you and see if they want to go deeper in your funnel. So he's already said, basically, you've already warmed him up. So when people are up here at the top, they start off as cold. But as they work their way down the funnel, they become warm. So he's basically already become warm to you because he's seen your work in action. And he's already said that he wants to use your services. Now, hopefully, he continues to keep that
Hey,
belief.
look, to me, if you do, you
But
do. If you
your
don't, you don't.
job, hold on, but your job is if you do not hear from this man after he said what he said, you need to have your series of follow ups and touch points because that's a part of the sales funnel too. So a lot of people get so focused on generating leads that they forget that they have to nurture the leads as well because that's a part of the sales funnel process. Because people are still having to get to know, like, and trust you. That's KLT, right? So the average person has to have 8 to 10 touch points before they trust you, they hear what you're saying, and they actually know what it is that you do. If they haven't had that amount of touch points, sometimes it's kind of hard for them to understand and know what it is that you do, or for them to be able to trust you. That's basically a sales funnel in a nutshell. Until you get to the person to the bottom and you actually close the sale.
Yeah, cause honestly, I ain't gonna lie. I studied that in school, whatever they I'm serious. They literally show you all that stuff when you're taking different marketing classes and
Yeah.
sale classes and all that, right? And they also touch on it in insurance. And I'm gonna wrap up this segment by saying this. That's why I ain't making it insurance, because don't come to me say you want some insurance and then turn around you bounce back and then I get a charge back and then I have to pay. I ain't got time for all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying though. I 100% agree. And I said I'm lazy, so that's why I'm more focused on the efficiency side of things versus the selling. Because of course, people like what you do. I'm like, yeah, I can do the work. I can do all this stuff.
And you can build, with you being an efficiency expert, you can build a system that does a lot of the work for you, a lot of that warming and nurturing for you, so you don't have to like physically.
Yeah, because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna move on to the next segment, y'all. I really like that. Thank you, Tamika.
You're welcome. Welcome back to Mike the Money. We're back on your weekly radio show and podcast discussing business clarity, reworking what's not working, and talking about where are we actually going. So, are you clear on the problem that you solve?
Well, I think the major problem that people have is it really the problem? Are you trying to solve a symptom?
Okay.
It's just like if you cold, if you sneezing, are you gonna try to find something to stop the sneezing?
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna try to find something that's going to cure the ailment that your body is having? A lot of times in business, people don't take enough time to see what the actual problem is.
Mm-hmm.
They want to solve around the problem because sometimes to solve the problem, you got to talk to people that you don't want to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
You got to deal with suppliers that you don't want to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
It's something uncomfortable that you have to do. So you avoid that entirely and just deal with the symptoms.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you can make money off symptoms too, though. Honestly, what you think doctors be doing?
I mean,
Sometimes they don't get to the root of the problem until you halfway dead. And then they be like, oh, this was the problem all along. Well, I'm pretty sure you knew that, Dr. So-and-so.
Well, it's true, but people, when you're working with people, they also have to be open to actually like healing the root cause of the issue and not just putting band-aids on it. And you have a lot of people that when they hear the price of having to get to the root cause is way more expensive than, okay, we just gonna put a bandage on it, when they don't realize actually you putting more bandages on it is actually going to be way more expensive than you actually just getting to the root cause of it and stopping it, because the symptoms and the bandages are just making it worse. It's just covering it up or until it completely falls apart. And then when it completely falls apart, then you're stressed out because now you got to reinvest for the whole entire thing when you could have just fixed it from where it was.
My thing is, it's kind of given, like, if you're a business person, you're an entrepreneur, you're helping people, that you also have to be a life coach in it. And that's a separate job by itself.
That's why I stand out, because
that's what I'm saying.
It's not just about being a business coach. Like, you have to understand the behaviors of people, and business psychology is just as real as like general psychology, right? You have to understand the behaviorism of people and their habits.
Well, a lot of people don't understand what the true cost benefit is. Like if I had a leak in her oil leak, now I can go around and buy a whole case of oil so I can keep putting oil in my car. I can just break down and get the engine fixed, or the wherever it is that's leaking fixed, and I won't have to carry cases of oil around. But eventually, the cost of the oil is going to surpass the repair.
Yeah. That's true. That's absolutely true. And I think people just don't realize the cost of that long term. So, what about you? Are you clear on your problem as far as how you help people and what you solve for them?
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not gonna. I ain't gonna lie. I keep saying I'm lazy because I really am, but
That's
it's mainly
okay.
because like I my services are specific,
Mm-hmm.
and digging into somebody else's life is kind of hard for me because I care, but I
Mm-hmm.
also, this is what you asked for, so this is what I'm gonna give you, and this is what you paid for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I kind of admire your business because you are on both sides of the spectrum. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so ethical. Maybe I should start being ethical. And then I think about it, am I really gonna start being like I know I'm not. So don't even try. Like it's not for everybody.
It's
You
not.
know, everybody can't be that confident for that person that's gonna push them to be the best they can be.
It's hard.
And a
Very
lot of
hard.
businesses don't work like that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like a lot of businesses, they got all them. They don't care about your mental. Like,
No, they don't. But like, it's definitely something that everybody can't do. And some days I ain't gonna lie, I don't want to do it. I ain't gonna lie about it. I
it's
don't.
like I'm very transparent.
But I've always tried to like put the boundary up around like one thing I do stand solid on is I'm not gonna work harder on this than you are.
I
So the
got that.
moment that I see you not doing what you know you need to be doing, hey,
It is
we
what it
both
is.
gonna be chilling then. Cause I'm not finna work hard on your thing than you working on your thing.
That makes sense.
You have to have willingness to fall in line with your thing too. Like,
You sound like one of those physical trainers now.
what you mean?
You go. I saw one of them to go to people's houses, look in their refrigerators and stuff like
As
that.
they should.
And, I didn't hire nobody to do all that now.
Actually, you did because you hired him to keep you accountable,
I
or
guess
her to keep you accountable.
I guess that's why I don't have a physical trainer.
I
Everybody
mean,
can't do it because I don't like people in my business and
my
don't call me
thing
out.
is, this is my thing. The last thing you finna do for me is pay me for a service and then get mad at the end of said service because you didn't get the result that you wanted to do because you was hard headed.
Mm,
So if you're paying me to do said service, obviously you thought I was excellent in what I do. Otherwise, you never would have booked a consultation with me.
right.
I'm finna come and be excellent at what I do. I'm not gonna half step there and then at the end of the trial with me or the program with me, then you're having buyer's remorse because you're like, what did I get out of it? I didn't even lose 10 pounds. Actually, I gained 20. That's because you got zuzus and wham whams in the cracks of your house, hiding in the couch and stuff like that. That you didn't tell me about when you came and did your session with me. So, like, yes, I'm holding you accountable. I'm removing the question. My job is to remove the question, to remove the temptation.
Well, I told you it was me when I first signed up.
I mean, if you want to give me $400-500 a month, then I'm cool with it. As long as you cool with it.
I mean,
No, I ain't
that's
cool
the thing.
with it.
A lot of people, I don't even know the statistic, and I have to look it up and say it like later. But a lot of people lack self discipline.
They
They
do.
was never trained to be disciplined in any type of area. I learned self discipline when I was in middle school when we had a principal that did not play that. Like you were held accountable for everything, and this is
Yeah.
me at 14 being on top of my stuff.
But-
So I was just like, God dang. So when I'm getting older and I see people saying, "Oh, I ain't got no control," you ain't got control.
Yes, you do.
And you managing children and money and a job and
You have all of the control.
people gonna do what they want to do at the end of the day is what I learned.
Yeah, and that's it.
And don't blame me
But I
because
mean,
you
if,
messed
if,
up.
if you want to pay me $400-500 a month and not get your results, I ain't mad about it.
It kind of reminds me of the conversation we had on one episode when I told you that entrepreneurs always has this little crazy thing in the back of their mind
Mhm.
and that they're going to keep doing until you actually get it out of them.
Mhm.
Because, some people work against themselves. They get in their own way.
Exactly, self-sabotage. So why would you keep the zuzus and wham whams in there if you know you trying to have this bikini on at the beach by your birthday?
That make no sense.
You working against me. You working against us.
I'm like the
I
lady.
can't help you.
I'm like the lady on 600-pound life. They just taste so good.
Yeah, well,
No.
we gonna wrap up this segment and move into the next one. We can talk about 600-pound life on the next segment for sure, right? Yep.
Welcome back to Mike the Money, the radio show and podcast, where we are talking about business clarity, reworking what's not working, and where are we actually going. So let's talk about Oh, identifying the broken pieces. Which offer or service consistently drains your time without profit? Business strategist.
Well, as a profitability expert, you got to look at everything that you do. It's like I tell a restaurant that has too many items on the menu. I said, first of all, you got too many things for people to choose. I went to Raising Cane.
Mm-hmm.
They only sell chicken fingers.
I haven't been there, but I saw
Well,
it
I'm
when I
just
went to the
saying
mall.
they only sell chicken fingers, and it's not a whole lot of gyrations to these chicken fingers. So that's why people love them. They just go in there and get the little chicken fingers and leave.
Are they good?
Okay. Why
They're good.
Okay, I'm hungry.
Why they love Popeyes?
Well, see, but the thing about it is, everything that's on the menu or every service that you offer is not profitable.
Okay.
And you got to find out and weed out the things that's just not working for you.
I gotta agree to disagree with you. I guess I got more of a question. So what about McDonald's? That's the largest fast food chain in the world, and they sell different products in every single country. Like some countries don't allow some things that they sell, and they have a variety of items on the menu. So why does that not apply to them?
Because they're global. And so when you go global, you want people to eat with you every day. So that means that you have to have a wide variety of things that sell.
Are you saying you should start off with just selling one thing, and then when you hit that global international scale, you can branch out and sell different things?
Now, I'm sure everything on their menu sells enough for it to stay on their menu.
Okay.
Okay, and they're global. And that means that the reach of these, because if my goal is for you to eat with me every day, and I'm a fish store, I sell fish, I have to have more on my menu than fish, because some people don't want to eat fish every day. So that means I have to have steak too. Then that means that after I have steak, I have to have sandwiches. So if my intention is for you to eat with me every day, I have enough variety on the menu. But then some people just take it too far. They got stuff that nobody wants to eat. And they got services that's just too difficult for them to do in a profitable manner.
Okay, so where I was going when I was asking, you was talking about Raising Cane's, and then you said they sell chicken tenders. So I said, well, why would people go to Popeyes? Why would people go to KFC? Why would people go to Chick-fil-A? Why are we going to Zaxby's? It's all chicken. It's only so many ways you're going to be able to make chicken. So why are the people really going?
Well,
Explain it.
okay, so if you go to Chick-fil-A, they have their salads.
Mm-hmm.
They have their chicken items, the nuggets. They have the sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the tenders and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they're pretty much grouped in such a way that they harmonize together. Because if I'm a family, my kids might want the nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
I may want the tenders.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else may want the sandwich.
Okay.
So I have enough variety on the menu to accommodate a regular family. Now, if I'm Popeyes, I have the chicken, which is the main entree. I have my little sides.
It has tenders and sandwiches and nuggets.
Yeah.
Just like it
That's
has
what
the
I'm
same
saying.
thing. I
That's
feel
what
like
I'm
it's the way
saying.
they're branding their stuff. I think it's the brand. I really do, because Chick-fil-A, every time I go to Chick-fil-A, even though sometimes I mess up my meal, like this morning, like y'all messed up my meal. Y'all gave me the little yogurt fruit cup instead of regular fruit cup, but I ain't upset. But every time I go, it's, hey, welcome to Chick-fil-A. They have a good attitude. They have a quality service. It's never really bad. You take something back, they not gonna get an attitude with you. They're not gonna be cursing you out. They not fighting the drive-through, aka Popeyes, or nothing like that. So, I just think it's the brand. I think it's. Am I right? Like, did I answer the question right?
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Okay.
That is part of
Where
it.
Chick-fil-A is not in the chicken business, they're in the customer service business.
Okay, see, now we're getting somewhere, because I was trying to figure out why you said what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Because Raising Cane selling chicken tenders don't do nothing for me. It's a lot of people that sell chicken tenders, and all the little hot wing joints in between
Yeah.
that we ain't even named.
That's true.
What's the difference? Why is Raising Cane's more valuable? Because they honed in on chicken tenders.
Well, I went by that one that's on Germantown Parkway, and I ain't like the one that was in South Haven, because I had to wait so long to get that stuff. But the chicken tenders were good. The Raising Cane sauce was phenomenal. And I think that the sauce is the thing that makes their chicken tenders the best, is because I think their sauce is phenomenal.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Okay. We gonna get to the bottom of that one, though.
Okay, so what are you avoiding fixing because it feels overwhelming in your business?
Well, eventually, you're gonna have customers that you're gonna have to let go, and because they're not profitable anymore.
Mm-hmm.
When I get to the point where I have to call people over $75 repeatedly to pay your bill,
Mm-hmm.
you're not a profitable customer. I might well not do the service
Mm-hmm.
if I got to wait 3 or 4 months to get to $75. And so that's draining,
Mm-hmm.
that's exhausting,
Mm-hmm.
and it just makes you not want to do that type of business with that person anymore. So you have to come to a realization that, hey, I got to let you go as a customer because it's just taking me too much time to get my money.
So what about for somebody who doesn't have a wealth of customers, um, and they're having that experience, but they just don't have a wealth of customers, and they have fear around letting that customer go because they need the money. What would you tell this person?
Well, I tell you, most of those people, they don't have those type of customers. They have a profit margin problem because they need to raise their prices, but they are scared to raise their prices because they scared they'll lose their customers.
Well, they ain't got no customers. That's the problem.
Well, the customers you do have, you need to raise your prices because you priced it wrong. And so, sometimes
So are you saying because of lack of customers, they should have been charging more? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that, okay, their problem is a value problem. They
Mm-hmm.
have not demonstrated enough value to get the price point that they want. Or they have demonstrated enough value, but they're undercharged for the service.
Okay.
You know, if I'm calling around and I'm saying, how much do you charge for this service? And somebody's way up here and someone's way down there, I'm probably going to go to somebody in the middle
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like that may be the average price. But if you way down low and you don't have no customers, you probably not charging enough.
Mm. Well, we're gonna wrap up this segment with that, and we're gonna move into our final segment.
Welcome back to Mike the Money Radio Show and Podcast. We're here discussing business clarity, reworking what's not working, and we're talking about identifying the broken pieces. So let's jump off with your question.
So the question of the last segment that we ended with: what are you avoiding fixing because it feels overwhelming?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I guess I'm asking you this question. Can it be anything related to mental health or well being? Because let's just say, as a CEO or as somebody that's in a business, you have a emotional roadblock. Like, how can it affect that business, and what can it do profit wise to their business? Like, of course, obviously we know it's going to decrease and go down the drain, but do you have any examples of somebody that's like just so stubborn and don't want to listen and don't want to do what they want to do, that it just affect their business and ultimately could possibly lead them to go out of business?
Um, the only examples I have like that are like larger companies.
Mm.
I mean, something like Blockbuster
Blockbuster.
because they weren't privy to Redbox,
Mm.
but then Redbox wasn't privy to Netflix, so they both went out of business.
So you
And
saying
now Netflix just bought Warner Brothers for $82 million. So now who really, you know what I'm saying? Like simple stuff like that. All because somebody didn't see the innovation in a thing or how to reinvent something that they were already doing well. Blockbuster, the only thing Blockbuster had to do was reinvent its subscription based model
mm.
to be digital
So you think
instead of physical.
So do you think a lot of big businesses, I guess it's both of y'all, go out of business because they refuse to innovate and they refuse to solve a problem in advancing?
Sometimes, I think that's the case, but I think when it comes to, and I know you said bigger businesses, but I just want to say this about small business owners. I think when it comes to small business owners, to answer your question in terms of like stubbornness or if you're having like a mental emotional block, I talk about how you have to understand the capacity that you have to be able to do what you do.
Mm.
And so you have to be able to build your business model around that capacity. So, as an example, I had a mentor that I used to work for that is in Atlanta. She has built her online audience since like 2017. This was like when online business was like getting really like popular. And so she's been in the game for quite a long time. She's an ex Fortune 500 consultant for Target. So she knows real world strategy, but she learned the online business strategy. She built her audience to, I'm sure it's over 400,000 people now. All of those people aren't her customers,
Right.
but when you look in the back end systems of her business, you could see 400,000 emails that are in that system that she has built over time. So, what I learned in that experience was I don't want this. This is a mass marketing business. I don't want to talk to 400,000 people. I don't even want to talk to 4,000.
So stay. Basically, you said stay. Like you just said, stay within your capacity,
My
right?
capacity, if I had to talk to 400,000 people, my nervous system would collapse.
Okay, I got you.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm not going to build a business around having a mass marketing model like that where I'm selling. At the time, she was selling a $500 product. Now, we hit a meal with that $500 product, but how many, like,
Yeah.
I'll pass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I learned then because I was admiring her before I started working with her. I actually truly admired her, but when I got to the background of her business, I was like, oh no, I don't want this.
Okay.
I want to be able to work with either B2B, or if I could do 10 to 15 high touch coaching clients in a year and still hit my revenue goal. That's the model for me.
Okay, I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm not trying to have a heart attack over all of that, right? And you have to understand that. So when people see other people making all of this money, they don't understand what's going
In the
on the
background,
back end. It's like, okay, this is what you say you want. Let me break this down for you. So I'm glad that I had the experience to work with her and actually see that in motion, because I was managing a lot of the customer service stuff, and she had 3 or 4 different programs going on at the same time. Some of them were high ticket, and then her course was her low ticket item. So some packages, I think her highest package at that time was $30,000. So we were selling all of them like clockwork, though. You know what I'm saying? So we had low ticket and we had high ticket, but the low ticket people, they was gonna serve themselves because this is a low ticket item. You don't get no touch with us, right? We focus on the people that paid us $10,000 or more. We gonna meet with you weekly. We're going to give you first deals at customer service or troubleshooting. You're getting your strategies custom made. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's so cool because like now that I'm thinking about it, people always be like, "Hey, I want to be like that person. I want to do what they doing." But like you just said, if you don't know the background of what somebody had to go through to get there and what type of mindset they in, you might just be setting yourself up for a failure. It's just like you just get into the business world and you want to be a CEO automatically and you take over a company. That company will go to the ground because you don't have no background knowledge of the company. You don't really know what it took to get there.
You have to build your emotional capacity, like your emotional intelligence, your cultural intelligence, your regular intelligence. Like you gotta build all of that to go with it. Because if you don't, when you start getting hit with stuff, it'll put you in like a freeze frame because you won't know what to do. So when people talk about that, I'm like, you sure that's the business model you want? Because you can literally make a business model around the lifestyle that you want. It doesn't have to be that all the time. She also had a hefty ads budget. So if you want this business model, are you going to spend $10,000 in ads every month? Oh, no, I ain't going to do that. Yeah, I figured, right? You see what I'm saying? So the trade-off is great because she's made multi-millions from that. But that's what it took to do that.
Exactly, yeah.
Right?
And everybody
she was
do
one
that.
person doing it
Yeah.
before I came on with her, and then it was 2 of us. Not much of a difference, but 2 people managing all of that because she didn't really want to be team. So that's what it was.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine that, man. That would make my head hurt. I'm like, look, this is what we finna do. We going bankrupt. No, I'm just like, we're gonna bankrupt the business. We're done with it. Well, we're gonna, that was really inspiring. Like that. That was a good gem. We're gonna wrap this episode of Mic'd Up Money. Of course, I'll let you mention social medias, and I'll let you mention all the tools, and we'll be out of here.
All right. So if you are enjoying everything that you're hearing on the Mic'd Up Money radio show and podcast, make sure that you connect with us across socials at Mic'd Up Money. That's MICDUPMONEY across every social platform that you can find us on. We are now on YouTube. So if you want to put voices with faces, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure that you comment and let us know what you liked or disliked about any of the episodes. The majority of them have been uploaded there now. Also, if you are interested in getting what your strategy needs to be going into 2026. You have 3 experts that are here on this show that are ready to help you. You can visit our website, www.mic'dupmoney.com, and book your consultation with either one of us, depending on what your area of interest is, and we'll be happy to serve you. And go ahead and talk about all of your wonderful tools in your Barney bag.
Well, if you go to mic'dupmoney.com, we do offer free tools. On the first page of our website, you can hit the button say get free tool. And once you register with us and tell us what tool you like, or we'll be able to give you the tool that can make a difference in your business. Also, for $12.99, you can subscribe to Mic'd Up Money on our website, and then we will give you free tools automatically, so you won't have to do anything but subscribe. The thing I found out about business is you need the tools to make it work efficiently. And you need the tools that's going to help you to turn your idea into a profitable idea. Execution is the key. And these tools help you with execution.
Okay.
Well, we out.
See you on the next.
This podcast or broadcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal, health, tax, or professional advice. Always consult a licensed professional for specific advice related to your situation. Thank you.
Mic'd Up Money. Let's go.